Of course it would. Well, Friday's demise at the hands of Parramatta on Friday night topped one of the worst weeks in the history of the Bulldogs. Early last week, Jared McCracken, Jim Dymock, Jason Smith and Dean Pay walked away from Super League contracts to sign with the ARL, effectively splitting one of the most powerful clubs in the game. Roy Masters caught up with Chris Anderson during the week for this interview.
Jared McCracken was our highest paid player in the Super League. He was our highest paid player. They offered him 3 times the amount that he was being paid there. You know, that's 3 times more than the Terry Lambs and everyone else in the club are getting. It's just money that is meant to disrupt us. And you know what they say to Jared is, you know, this offer for 4 years will look after your future. And Jared said, no, he's about looking after his future. He's not about the future of rugby league, and he shouldn't be worried about the future of rugby league. You know, this sort of stuff should not be put on him. He's just worried about his future and the fact that he can set himself up in life with this.
Now, is the Australian coach Bob Fulton specifically targeting Canterbury?
Of course he is. You know, what value is it for him to be getting Jared McCracken? You know, why pick on Canterbury? Canterbury obviously are a club that's gone with the Super League, and they've picked on us to disrupt Canterbury. You know, and as much as Bob Fulton will disrupt us, and he will disrupt us in the short term, I'm sure it's disrupted us now. But mate, we're a tough club, and we'll drag together, and we'll get through this. It's, you know, it'll make us fight harder.
Yeah, but Chris, in some ways, can you blame yourself for causing this split? Did you overreact that day when you dropped those 2 players in your office?
A little bit, yeah, and I think I got a bit emotional about it, for sure. I think I was hurt. There's players that have been here and I've nurtured for 5 and 8 years and come to me and said we've signed with someone else. And I didn't know what the money was about. They gave us no opportunity, no respect to the fact that, you know, shit, we've been there for a long time. Maybe we owe them a chance at saying we've made a huge offer, we've been made a huge offer, you know, and give us an opportunity to say, well, you know, shake their hand and say, well, good luck, take the money. But they didn't give us that opportunity, and I was hurt. You know, I coach like that. I put a lot in my players, and I expect a lot back from them. And at the emotion of the moment, I was hurt, for sure.
Is the defection of your 4 key players from a top Super League club a huge slap in the face for Super League?
I think it's a huge slap in the face for rugby league. I think the fact that players are being asked to break contracts, to sign other contracts when they've already signed a contract, you know, we're talking about, we're a sport that's the major part of our makeup as kids. And what sort of message are we sending them? You know, I think the messages that we're sending kids now is disgraceful, and I think that's been going on for a couple of years, that we haven't sent a lot of good messages out to kids. For me, you know, that was some of the reason why I decided to go the other way with Super League, that I think that we have to get back to the grassroots and have a look at ourselves and see the examples we're setting for kids in the community.
But with all due respect, aren't both sides guilty of this?
I disagree with both of it. You know, I think it's terribly wrong. But, you know, all this stuff's out of my hands, isn't it? You know, I'm a football coach, and they're telling us how to handle legal matters. You're sitting in rooms with 3 and 4 lawyers and that. How do we know what's going on in there? You know, and how do 20 players, I've been thinking about this for a couple of days, you know, after the emotion of it all settled down. I've been thinking, like, if I was Dean Pay and 25 years old and I've gone in and an Australian coach is at me saying, you know, I can offer you this, I can offer you that, and there's 3 lawyers and John Quayle and Phil Gould there, like, you know, they're the people that you look up to in the game, and they're saying, break your contract. I think it's sad.